What is the Eastern Bloc? Have you ever wondered how the political landscape of Europe changed after World War II? The Eastern Bloc played a significant role in shaping that history. So, what exactly is the Eastern Bloc? The Eastern Bloc refers to a group of communist states in Central and Eastern Europe that aligned with the Soviet Union during the Cold War. This period lasted from around 1947 to 1991. The bloc included the Soviet Union itself and countries like East Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and initially Albania. The roots of the Eastern Bloc can be traced back to the end of World War II. After the Soviet Red Army liberated much of Eastern and Central Europe from Nazi control, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin established communist governments in these nations. At the Yalta Conference in 1945, Stalin had promised free elections. However, in reality, the Soviet Union set up puppet regimes through manipulated elections and political pressure. This strategy allowed the Soviet Union to transform military occupation into political control, creating a buffer zone of allied states between itself and Western Europe. The formation of the Eastern Bloc served multiple purposes. It provided the Soviet Union with a strategic military buffer against potential invasions from the West. The countries in the bloc were tied together by the Warsaw Pact, a military alliance formed in 1955. This pact formalized their collective defense under Soviet leadership. Economically, these countries were integrated through trade agreements that favored the Soviet Union. The Eastern Bloc became a significant market for Soviet goods while receiving aid for reconstruction and industrialization. However, the economic benefits were often uneven, favoring the Soviet Union, and many economies struggled to meet ambitious production goals. Politically, the Eastern Bloc was marked by one-party communist rule, following the Stalinist model. This meant limited political freedoms and suppression of dissent. In the West, the bloc was often described as being behind an iron curtain, a term popularized by Winston Churchill to highlight the division between communist Eastern Europe and capitalist Western Europe. Interestingly, Yugoslavia was an exception within this context. Its communist government, led by Josip Broz Tito, resisted Soviet control and pursued an independent path. This led to a split with Stalin in 1940, making Yugoslavia unique as a socialist state outside direct Soviet dominance. The Eastern Bloc began to unravel with the collapse of communist regimes across Eastern Europe between 1989 and 1991. This culminated in the dissolution of the Soviet Union, marking the end of the Cold War division of Europe. The legacy of the Eastern Bloc is essential for understanding the geopolitical and ideological divisions that shaped European history in the 20th century.